Now, on one final matter, our Democratic colleagues do apparently have time to push for show votes on messaging resolutions with no chance of becoming law. This week's installment is a Democratic effort to limit the flexibility that governors of both parties have utilized to lighten the burdens of Obamacare. States have jumped at the opportunity to use waivers to reduce the cost associated with Obamacare's mandates. In the states that have taken advantage, premiums decreased significantly. In 2018, the Trump administration expanded this policy with an even more flexible interpretation of this part of Obamacare. The goal was to give states even more of what they'd been asking for, even more latitude to preserve consumer choice and lower premiums. But notwithstanding all the evidence that says this is the right direction for the American people, our Democratic colleagues want to roll back the Trump administration guidance and limit state flexibility. Since this position is virtually impossible to explain on its merits, our Democratic colleagues have instead turned to a familiar talking point: the false claim that Republicans are trying to undercut protections for Americans with pre-existing conditions. Sound familiar? But of course, that's not true. As Senate Republicans have said over and over and over again, we support protections for Americans with pre-existing conditions. And the administration has made it very clear that this waiver program poses no threat to those protections. The administrator of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services has stated, quote, "A Section 1332 waiver cannot undermine coverage for people with pre-existing conditions." And what's more, as the White House has already made clear, Democrats' resolution has zero chance of becoming law. It's just another political messaging exercise with no path to making an impact. So I would urge my colleagues to reject this resolution, keep fighting to lower premiums for the American people, and protect those with pre-existing conditions.